Hola, bienvenidos al podcast de la vuelta más rápida. That is supposed to mean welcome to
That was so good.
Lap podcast.
Wait, that was so good. I'm
It's
impressed.
I was walking around like trying to. I was like, "Hola, bienvenidos al podcast de la," and then I've messed up and go, "God damn it! Let me try again."
While you're cleaning your room today.
Yeah. Welcome back, by the way.
As you can see, Harry's not with us this week, unfortunately. We're wishing him all the best. He's just going through some stuff, but we thought, we gotta carry on, and we're gonna wrap up this week's Grand Prix, pretty much.
Which was supposed to be, traditionally is quite a boring race, but this one wasn't, to be fair.
This one proved very different, and we get started. P1, 2 and 3, our practices overall. It was looking optimistic for the Ferrari fans, wasn't it? We had Leclerc topping the times every single practice, like without fail. It was just nuts, and to much of Harry's joy, for sure, the Mercs seems to have finally found their pace. Like, we had them consistently between, I think it was P2 and P4, which is just crazy. So whether they brought upgrades to this week, who knows? But they've definitely gotten to grips with the cars because they did look great on the track this last race.
Yeah, I was literally, like, the other day I was watching Ted's notebook and he was like, it was to do with the floor. He was like, you would have known. He was like, it was to do with the floor.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they've done to the floor to sort it out, but
no idea. I think he said that they might have made it lower to generate more downforce on the car, which, makes sense at the end of the day, but it seems like they've finally got their wits about them, and it proved to be consistent all throughout the race, because just touching on this quickly, we saw George put in an absolute performance this weekend. I think a lot of people really overlooked how well he did, and he definitely needs a pat on the back for how well he did the weekend. It was crazy. But yeah, we had Ferraris at the top throughout practice 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
and moving into quali.
Lots of upgrades, though, by the way. And let's speak about upgrades. Let's speak about Aston Martin doing another copy. It looks like.
I thought it was so funny. I didn't think it was real. I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, this can't be real, surely not. And then when I was watching the programs being broadcast, I was like, oh no, they did. Did you see Red Bull's response to it? Oh. They were drinking the green Red Bull cans throughout the weekend.
So good.
I thought it was so funny. And other news related to Aston Martin, did you hear what happened to Seb?
No. What?
Seb got stolen from in Barcelona. He had his bag stolen, and then Seb decided to pursue them on scooter, using his phone to track his AirPods that were in the bag. He ended up finding the AirPods, but he didn't find like the rest of his stuff. So they must have dumped a bunch of stuff out and decided what was worth taking.
You think they'd take the AirPods, though?
You'd think they'd take them. Maybe they were smart enough to realise that he could have been tracking them, but he tried to.
Maybe they see him on a scooter.
Maybe they did, but unfortunately, that seems to be happening a lot over the last year. We've seen a lot more about Formula 1 drivers being stolen from, which is a shame, but the idea of Seb on a scooter chasing after someone who's stolen from him is absolutely hilarious.
It would have to be him as well.
Yeah, Inspector Seb, Policeman Seb. What more are we going to get this season? I want Rubbish Man Seb to come back.
Yeah. So where were we on? I forgot already. We were on about
that thing.
Yeah.
And the
one quick thing about the Aston Martin, by the way. Chris Horner from massive allegations like he could. Well, I say he could get himself in trouble, but he's untouchable, really.
Yeah.
Because he said it was the FIA who brought it to his attention,
Mm.
but then they cleared Aston Martin. But he's under the illusion. I don't know how true it is that the engineers have basically took the
Oh God.
data and stuff like that over with them.
Really?
Yeah, so he that's what he wants to know about, and whether like he can basically sue them for
See,
it.
it doesn't look great for the team as a whole because for those of you who are new, Aston Martin used to be known as Racing Point, and Racing Point had a very well-known pink car that was dubbed the Pink Mercedes. So this kind of trend following them through of copying the Mercedes and now allegedly copying the Red Bull is not a great look for the team as a
Hmm.
whole. So whether that's something that needs to be internally investigated, uh, who knows? But
Lan- Lance done himself proud.
yeah,
He said with a straight face, "We've been working on this for like for a whole year, and like this, that, the
yeah,
other." Like, and I thought, "Oh, your dad would be proud of you for that. You kept a
yeah.
straight face."
I guess with like, well, we saw that a lot last year as with the budget cuts and like cost caps. A lot of teams actually saved. I think they called them tokens, and their work into developing this year's cars rather than last year's. So is it a believable alibi? Yes, it is. Who knows? Maybe Seb will investigate for us and give us a report. Inspector Seb.
So yeah, practice anyway. Practice
Quali.
quali. Um, yeah, it was another Leclerc masterclass.
Yeah.
He,
How? We
he's
saw
doing
a lot of
good.
track limits, I think, this
Mm.
quali for the first time. We had one of the new race directors in uh, this weekend because there are two, I'm pretty sure, that share the position now. Um, and it was stated that if all four tyres go over the white line, that is track limits. And unfortunately, track limits is what Lando ended up being the reason he got knocked out in Q2 because he got a lap time deleted for going over those track limits. I think Gasly also had track limits on him. So it was interesting to see. I think, especially this weekend, there was a lot more in terms of FIA making decisions during the race. And they were very heavy on track
Yeah.
limits this weekend.
Well, speaking of Gasly, he had a lot of problems from
Yeah,
practice to fix what Quali managed to do. Same
yeah.
with Schumacher as well. His car, it was
Oh my god. It
right
was,
rear brakes, wasn't it?
yeah.
Went on fire and
I know
just
they
spread.
said, I'm not sure what point it was in the weekend, but I know they were saying that uh, all cars had to have cooling packs put in under park ferme conditions just because it was that hot, which significantly made the cars a lot slower. But to see his car on fire was just ridiculous. And then he ended up making it into Q3.
I don't
He
know how.
he got into Q3 for the first time. Fair play to him. 10th. You can't really ask for much more. It was looking so optimistic for him as well
Yeah,
all weekend, and yeah.
maybe
But
set the
then,
fire. Maybe set the car on fire more often.
yeah, maybe set the car on fire more often. But then, surprisingly, after being dubbed that they were copying the Red Bulls, Aston Martin had no pace during
Hmm.
quali.
Awful.
They were out in Q1, which was a
Once-
shame because I think after seeing the upgrades, people were like, "Oh my god, maybe there's something in here. Maybe we're gonna start getting into Q2 more consistently in Q1." But there was no pace in that Aston Martin at all, unfortunately, over the weekend.
Seb was super shocked that he got
Yeah,
knocked out, and it was like,
he was because it was literally just a case of the others uh, crossing the line because I think he was on a cool down lap and other people were finishing hot laps, so that's just how it came to
yeah.
be, unfortunately. But yeah, moving on to the race. Do you know what? As annoying as technical issues are, the it did make the race more interesting We saw on the opening lap, Kevin and Lewis, they got into a bit of a scrap. Kevin was not pleased about it, but at the end of
Shut
the
up,
day,
Kevin.
yeah,
Shut up.
like as much as I'm not a Lewis fan, like it was just a racing incident. Nothing happened on purpose. Nothing was out of spite. It literally just was you two had contact and you went in the gravel.
He was like, he meant it. He did that on
He
purpose.
ramped me
Yeah.
up.
It's like, he was just about to make a move on Sainz. Like,
Yeah.
what reason would he have to do that to you? Like,
Yeah,
he's
they
got
could
no
have both
beef with
stuck to
you.
their lines and gotten around that, but
Yeah.
unfortunately that isn't what happened. But while we're on the topic of Hamilton, Hamilton was actually warned 3 times during the race and was given the black and white flag for track limits. I don't think we actually got to see where those track limits were.
No.
I think a lot of people are just putting their faith in these new race directors to be firm but to be fair, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we all want firm, fair races.
He does seem to do that a lot, to be fair,
Yeah,
and gets away with it. So
yeah. But yeah, that was definitely a racing incident. You see it every opening lap of every race. At least one person's making contact with another. George got tagged during the opening lap and was able to stay on track. It just is what it is. At the end of the day.
I love that opening lap. Maybe it's because it looked for a minute Mercedes were gonna like do well on the opening lap,
just
and
like charge through everyone.
I was like, "Go on, George, go on!" And I remember, "Go on, Hamilton, go!" And then I was like, "For God's sake, K-Man, why?
Yeah.
I love you, but why?"
Yeah.
Even though like it was just racing instance, I was still like, "For God's sake!"
Yeah.
I was like, "He doesn't have any luck whatsoever."
Yeah, definitely this race, we have seen the Merc get pace in it. Whether it's the drivers like getting to grip with the car, I think George looks a lot more comfortable in the car. And obviously, there's always going to be that pressure that comes with it. But I think he's adjusted to that very well. We saw it in Australia because he was on the podium there. He was on the podium again at the weekend. And I think it's nice seeing that they're able to now fight for a constructors that they're more than capable of getting if they keep up the fight. That's for sure. But yeah, moving on. The usual. I think evil cycle happened again. Sadly for Ferrari this weekend, they were dominant all throughout Friday, all throughout Saturday. But Sunday rolls around as it does every week, and we had Sainz in the gravel at his first home race of the season because obviously he's Spanish and it was a Spanish Grand Prix. He managed to get out, which was impressive. You know, he kept the car going. That's what was important. He had no damage to the car. It was literally just the tyres. But that turn 4, we saw a lot of people go off into turn 4, seemingly over nothing. Max did like a lazy slide into the gravel at turn 4 as well. It just seemed to get some people. I'm pretty sure Stroll had contact with Gasly as well at the same turn, almost ended up. So maybe turn 4's cursed. I think that's the only reasonable outcome of that. Is that turn 4 is cursed?
Oh, I felt. I'm trying to feel sorry for Sainz, but after a while, you're like, come on, like. But I know everything, every incident he has had is really unlucky. Like most of it is really unlucky. Like, the Ferrari isn't as stable as everybody thinks it is. That it's just that Leclerc is really good at like he has a natural ability to like almost guide the car, like he can feel it in himself and like guide it way better than Sainz can.
It's
so
worth noting.
That's why.
Yeah, it's worth noting as well that I'm pretty sure Sainz's engine is 2 races older than Charles's. They changed his, I'm pretty sure, prior. But yeah, he's definitely struggling with the car. Whether that's down to like driver error or there is just a technical fault with the car, so we don't know. But maybe when they replace the engine again or over one of the brakes, we'll see Ferrari bring some upgrades because I think they were meant to bring some last race, but didn't end up using them. So I know there's some Ferrari upgrades in the near future that should be coming. So maybe that will help Sainz.
Yeah, I think the only like reshaped the front suspension. I think got new wings. I think front wings, but that was about it. Nothing huge like a change of engine or nothing. So, I have hope for him. I still have hope.
Yeah, there is hope for him.
Yeah,
definitely.
He is a good driver. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's just you're like, no, not again.
Yeah. It's just seeing it every week is so painful because there is pace in that car and we see it in the practices. It's just such a shame that when it comes to the race, he just seems to be getting this bad luck every single time.
Yeah. Speaking of bad luck, Leclerc.
Speaking of bad luck,
He literally was like, "Oh no,
who's giving who's
on the
cursed
radio.
Lord Percival? Because I'm not having it. My Ferrari jacket came today. It arrived after I bought it like almost a month ago, and it finally arrived. And I'm like, come on, Charles, I've bought this jacket now, man. Please give me something. It's such a shame. So quite early on as well in the race, like it was lap 27, he lost power, and he just knew from then. Like Russell took into the lead, and he was like, "There's no getting power back in this car."
Yeah,
and it's just so unfortunate to see because he was driving so well.
So all the cards seem to fit in place correctly.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, Mercedes have pace, and George is able to like hold back Perez and Verstappen and push them back. He was like flying.
Yeah.
I was gaining like seconds lead, and then boom, that bad luck comes rolling in again.
We'll touch on this later.
Future anime here. We didn't touch on this later. We forgot. Back to the podcast.
But my meme of the week is to do with George and Max this week, because I found a funny one that I really liked because I just found it really funny. But yeah, it was a shame to see Charles have more bad luck again, and unfortunately, it seemed to do. It's to do with the car, and the Ferrari powers car because we also saw Zhou Guanyu having to retire from the race due to also technical error. Whether it's the same as what Charles had or something different, we don't know.
No, there's not wrong with our Ferrari power unit. It was like, come on.
It seems to be alternating. Like you'll have some weeks where the Mercedes powered cars are really bad, and then you'll have other weeks when it's the Ferrari ones. Apart from Kevin, apparently, I think really, really consistently, Kevin's still getting performance out of that Haas. I don't know how. I think if you asked him to boil an egg in a microwave, he'd be able to do it. Like, genuinely. It's just crazy.
So you want to be nice about him, but he's in my bad books.
Yeah, in your bad books at the minute.
So then you had Verstappen crying over his DRS.
I think it was a bit more angry than a cry. Yeah.
That was so funny. Oh.
See, that situation actually made me realize new things because I thought DNF? What's DNS? DNF was like just like an automatic
DRS
thing that had been configured. I didn't realize you had to press a button.
Same.
And obviously I guess how it would work is if you pressed it when he wasn't in the zone, obviously it wouldn't open. For it to open on other laps and then not on others, again, is Red Bull having reliability issues, which isn't really to do with their power unit, which is strange because we didn't see Perez having that issue.
Yeah.
And also he was on the radio like, I'm pressing it 50 times. It's not working. This is unbelievable. He's like raging. And then you've got Christian on the phone like, press the button the once, please, Max. Max. Like the start clippers having them on the radio is so funny.
Yeah, because they can't exactly lose their minds, can they? They've just got to ignore the fact that he's calling them every name under the sun.
Yeah, like, this is unbelievable. And half the radio message you can't hear because it's bleeped.
It was like beep, beep,
beep, beep. It's like, have you seen the clip of Mick when he's talking about something and then he's like, oh yeah, he's on the radio and he's like beep beep, like, because he doesn't want to swear. It's so precious. It's great.
It was glorious, to be fair, because I just pictured them like sitting there, like on a game, let's say, and you want to open like a treasure chest, and you're like, I just pictured them doing that.
It's like I'm sat there like really concentrating in Valorant, and I'm left clicking like, why is it not showing? It's so funny because, you know, drivers, like, you kind of imagine them being really in the focus, in the zone, like you could sometimes see it in their eyes, in the visor. They're so just getting on with it. But then you always, like, you just know if you like pan to Max is just there like calling them any possible insult that they can, being like, fix this shouldn't be broken, fix it.
I thought, like, if the power unit issue didn't happen, I thought, like, I tweeted off our account, off our account anyway, if this keeps going on for any longer, he'll crash, he'll do something stupid, because when he rages, errors go all, like, he just starts throwing errors all over, like, even...
It is so dangerous, because, like, obviously you're going so fast, and one kind of out of zone, like, out of focus move, and then I see, you know, you can be in a wall, and it's really scary to think that, but I think Max is angry. That's like his not highest level of anger. I think he knows how to control it. But obviously high pressure situations get the best of everyone. And now, like, he's just kind of something that he's never had a problem with the whole season that's now going wrong. He's like, oh, for God's sake, this is another thing.
And I think he just got triggered, the fact that it was a Mercedes in front of him.
Yeah. He was like, I should be able to overtake this car. Why can't I do it? Which just shows how much of an impact DRS has. And it explains why everyone wanted DRS a few races back. Yeah, why we need it to keep the races interesting, to keep us on our toes, and so the drivers can really race wheel to wheel with each other.
Speaking of Max, might as well speak about Perez then. And I'm convinced. Well, to be fair, we said that on the last pod with Luke. That Perez is so close. Well, if Horner doesn't let Perez race every now and again, he's gonna turn into a villain. He's gonna do a Bottas.
Yeah. Well, if
they're not careful.
Even then, gonna do a Bottas. Bottas didn't really do much. I remember, like, watching Drive to Survive, and he said, since, like, Sochi, like, I'm not gonna do that again. I'm not gonna do team orders. And then he did. He was just so compliant every single season. And I was just like, come on. Like, I would understand if it was the latter part of the season and Max and whoever it would be at that time are really, really close on points. But the fact that I'm sure, like, Charles now has more DNFs than Max, or the same, the fact it's so early on in the season, Max didn't really need those points. Like, second would have sufficed.
Extra points,
and Perez more than fairly could have had that, and it's such a shame to see them do team orders. It's kind of hypocritical, because I think they would look at Mercedes and be like, oh, team orders. They're treating Bottas like he's poo on the bottom of their shoes, but they're doing the exact same thing now, so it's such a shame, because Bottas more than could have handled that completely well, but
it proper annoyed me. More than it should have, to be fair, because I feel like I say it every week. I'm always like, Perez, race, like, you're a good driver, race, just do it. But he's
I think
so nice.
as long as they both know, keep it fair, like don't be ridiculous. Let them race. It's entertainment, it's competition, it's adrenaline, and the best driver wins. I'd understand if later on in the season, if it's really close to call and we get into the closing stages, that they want to put Max first. That's more than fair. But so early on, it was just unnecessary. And you could see after how disappointed Perez was. And I think that's why, like, we've seen Bottas now at Alfa Romeo, and he's enjoying it. Like, you could tell, like, from the TikToks they make and stuff, that he's a lot happier there. But yeah, Perez was done very dirty by being given team orders.
It's just the fact that, like, he's just had a kid. It would have been nice if he would have won it. Like, I'm sure that's what he was thinking as well. Like, I'll do this for, like, my kid or whatever, my son. That would be, like, a great way for him to enter this world in, like, blah, blah, blah. And then he asked, it's just the way he went, like, tell him to move, because I've got, like, well, I don't know whether he had that space or not, I don't know. But he's like, I can get past, Lee, I can get past Russell. And then he just changed the conversation and said something else completely different. He was like, no, let me pass. Like, I want to get past. And he just changed the conversation again and ignored him. It's like, at least have the decency to go, no, we'll put Max first, blah, blah, blah. Like, he just didn't. And then, because I was thinking the same thing too. I was thinking, let Max stay there for as long as he wants, because he's not getting, like, he's wasting his own time here. Like, because I thought...
We've seen Perez is able to create gaps and create distance and create space for his teammate. And they should have just let him have it, but, you know, what's happened, and let's just hope. I think Perez could be in for at least 2 wins this season. Maybe even more. But it's you know, it's so obvious that he's the number 2 driver. Like, as soon as he got announced for that seat, like, you just know. As much as people, I think it's difficult with some teams to be able to tell who's a number 1 and who's a 2, but in other teams, it's very obvious. And it's a shame.
With like I think Luke last episode said, though, they're thinking about, like, signing them up. It's like, of course they are. Like, he's their laptop. Like, you'll do whatever they want. Like, no questions asked. Like, this is the first time I've ever heard them ask a question, to be fair. Like, it was just a little oh, I'll let him pass, but he didn't do the same for me thing. Like, afterwards, like, Verstappen's like, thank you, Checo, like, thank you. And it's like, as some, like, say races start the whole lives, like, obviously winning, thrashing people left, right, and centre. That's how they get to where they are. So for someone who has every racer on that track has a winning mentality. Like when I think about, I don't know, when I used to do high jump or whatever. If someone was to say to me, like, don't get that height just because the person behind me is not that good on that day, I'd be like, see you later, watch me fly. But, like, for him to shows how nice he is, to be honest, for him to bite that bullet and go, fine. It shows how nice he is, but then I'm like, you absolute wimp. Like, you deserve no happiness in the world. Like, because I'm like, nobody's ever going to, like, you're your own champion. No one is ever going to push you as, like, more than yourself.
True. Like, it's all about, like, that self kind of motivation, belief, and obviously there's, you know, the money that you're being paid for your contract and stuff. But, you know, if you've got a reasonably reliable car, that you're going to get the job done consistently week in, week out. And I kind of think that move is because Red Bull were afraid, because they've had reliability issues that they weren't expecting to come across, especially this week with the DRS, that they were kind of like, oh, we need to give Max this, which I get. But again, at the same time, it was a shame to see Perez not win. But we know he's more than capable of winning, because there was that one race, you know, 2 seasons ago when he went from right at the bottom and was told, you know, there's so much more to this race, to go on and win it, which sounds so unbelievable. But it happened.
I'm sorry. That was so funny, and I don't think you meant it like that. There was that one time, 2 years ago, when he was allowed to.
That one time, yeah, when he was allowed to. And he was in such a midfield car too. So for that to just happen is insane. So he's got it in him. We've seen it. Let's just hope he gets more chances across the season.
Yeah, because you want to be able to look, like, when you look back on your racing career, is anyone going to go, oh, you the person who helped Max to like the 8th world title? Like, no.
Yeah.
People are going to go, Max's boss and got himself 8 world titles. They're not going to mention you. You're not going to be in the history. It's like, unless you want to be there yourself. Like, that's just where I think. Maybe I'm just selfish, but that's
it's a valid point.
That's the way I think. But yeah,
I think everyone, regardless of who they support, would like to see Checo have more opportunities to be able to put himself out there and get more wins. You know, we're very, very early into the season. We've got, I think 18 more races
something like
to go, hereabouts. Who knows what the season has in store? We're still like so early in.
Well, hopefully he's in a Bottas comes out for at least 1 or 2 races anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
He doesn't want to do too many because then you might get rid of him.
Yeah. Do you know who I love seeing pundit on Sky Sports? I love seeing Naomi Schiff pundit on Sky Sports.
So good.
I love seeing more like women input into F1. Like, even in like, a lot of people don't like Drive to Survive. I personally really like it just because I really like documentaries like that, because they still show the other aspects. Like, we wouldn't have known that Gunter modelled for Audi. The grocery store, by the way, not the car brand, just so we're clear. The grocery store. We wouldn't have known that without Drive to Survive. But it's so nice seeing more women representation, especially in F1, because I think this is something over the last couple of years that has been mentioned a lot more, that we want to see females in F1. We want to see them in the pits, but we want to see them in the cars. I want to see them in the cars. I want to be in the car. I can't. I don't even have my normal license, but I'd love to see some of the W Series be able to get in an F1 car, because I think they're more than capable.
I watched. I don't often watch the W Series, to be fair. I did like every now and then when it was on Channel 4, but this is the first time like I watched it on Sky.
Yeah.
Didn't watch it when it was in Miami, because the F1 was chaos enough. I thought I can't cope.
Oh my god,
I can't cope. So I give it a pass.
Yeah, because they had their opening race in Miami, which is just crazy. But yeah,
what an opener.
It's such a shame that I think we saw a lot last year in F3 and F2. It's obviously the sport is very money driven, but unfortunately a lot of people, because I followed it along, were having to drop out because they weren't, like, the lack of money wasn't enough. But I really hope we get to see the likes of Jamie Chadwick go into F3 and work her way up through the ranks as fairly as everyone else has done that has gotten into F1 thus far, and be able to see her. I think she's going to be a real figurehead and a real turning point for a lot of people up and down the country, like, regardless of gender.
I really hope so.
Yeah, I think she's going to make a big statement.
So good.
Yeah.
Like, it must, like, to the point where it must get boring for her to win that often.
Yeah.
She must sit there and think,
fancy a week off.
Like, I love yous girls, but be arsed being here with yous, because I'm dreaming of, like, I'm on to bigger and better things. I just am.
Yeah.
It's inside of me. That's what I'm meant to do. Like, love the W series. Oh, it's nice. Ooh, females. Ooh, but I want to be in those big, big ass cars.
Like the thought
I
is
want
nice,
that.
but even having it separate to start with is a bit rubbish, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
But I get the point. Any step of progress to me is a step of progress, regardless, because we know what the end goal is. And I think, as much as people don't like it, I think Caitlyn Jenner having her own W Series team and investing in that proves that there are people willing to put a lot of money into Jamie, and that I think people in F3 should start being like, oh, she's impressive. Let's see what she can do in one of our cars.
See, I hope so, but like I feel so. What's the name? Jess.
Hawkins?
Yeah, Jess Hawkins. So she's like a walking PR machine. She's not. I don't want to bash her, but she's not. In comparison to Jamie, she's not that good. She's always like midfield. But her PR makes her look like she's Jamie Chadwick. Like, her PR is immense to the point where if you don't know about anything to do with W Series, you'd think that like she was one of the top drivers in it, because she's always in everything. Her face is always everywhere. She's in America in like football stadiums and this, that, the other, getting jerseys printed out for her, like her name plastered all over the arenas. And
I think as well her position in Aston Martin.
Like
alongside that,
she's just. I wish Williams would do the exact same thing for Jamie, because I don't see any interviews with her or like nothing
or
like
even
that.
like TikTok content.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, what we want is representation and opportunities, and you're not gonna get that unless you're willing to put these people out there at the end of the day, because you need the exposure. But yeah, I know W Series is a very, very short season, so who knows? Maybe I think Williams do enjoy their TikTok content, so we could see a bit more of her through like the off seasons and in between F1 races, and it'd be nice to have her in the paddock again, because we know she's obviously not going to make the jump from W Series into F1.
No, God, no.
She'll work her way through as fair as every other driver has. I think there's a lot of pressure on her to be like the first female driver to like getting to F1 and stuff like that. And if the time's right and if she feels ready, she'll do that.
I feel like it comes, like in that sense, like the pressure. I feel like it comes from like people wanting to push her because they feel like Williams and her team aren't pushing it. Not nearly pushing it, but not. I don't mean it in terms of like racing pushing it. I mean like they're not pushing it like the same way Aston Martin are with Jess.
Yeah.
They should be putting it out there in the public. Maybe she just doesn't like to be in the public. Like, you never know. Some people are super shy. Like, I know I wouldn't want to be because I'm dead shy. But it'll do with the world of good, even if it is like just doing the TikTok every now and then. Because it's not like I don't know why I had in my head that she was older than she is, because she's so like reclusive.
Yeah.
I thought she was way older than she is, but she's not. So I'm like, why isn't she never included in anything that Williams do? Because all their drivers are very young in age and similar in age as well. Like in regards to like Jess, the F3, 2 and 1 drivers, they're all in similar age group. So
you
should look into that, Williams, because
Williams, do us a favour.
Representation is important, and
it's very important. You know, we have last year we had we raced as one.
No, why do we always mess up on the word one?
That's very true. I think because we had oh my god, I can't say it. The We Race as One. There we go. Campaign, which was great because you know we have to, as a sport who's got millions of viewers, so many sponsors, having that platform, you have to utilize it. And I forgot what the initiative's called this year. They're taking steps in the right direction to be more sustainable. And I just hope in the near future we see more representation and see other issues being like tackled and made awareness of.
Yeah, because like I'm always about representation, but I don't like. You don't want a token.
Yeah,
Don't
you
want
also
token
don't want a token.
representation. She's super talented, so
Yeah.
she deserves to be pushed. Like Naomi as well.
Yeah.
She's super talented and knowledgeable in what she's talking about. It's like,
Yeah.
usually I just don't kind of gloss over any talk, like technical talk, but with her, I don't know whether it's because of her accent, whatever it may be, she's just very engaging and I receive it well and take it in. But
I think as well
great.
the fact that we've gone so long in the sport having just male representatives and like male pundits, male drivers, of course, that having women in motorsport is extremely refreshing, and obviously it's going to be a lot more like engaging to young females who have never really like gone into motorsport before, and it's very like inviting, because if you see that you're being represented, be that like sexuality or gender or race, ethnicity, seeing that represented, like most people will immediately want to tune into that and see what they're talking about.
Yeah. This just made me. You just said that race, and it made me think of that Hugo, what's the American kid?
The McLaren driver.
Yeah, the McLaren driver. And thinking of that Paul. I'm great with names today, aren't I? I can't remember. He's a pundit anyway on Sky.
Paul de Resta?
Yeah. I can't wait for him to attempt to say his name. That would be great.
That would be quite funny.
Because he just cannot say anyone's name. He's terrible.
He really cannot.
But yeah, speaking of McLaren, anyway,
it was a rough. It was a rough. Yeah, it was a rough. It was a rough. It's such a shame, man. We can't catch a break at the minute. Now I know how Harry felt at the start of the season. It was, I think it was motorsport.com they reported, actually. So for those who don't know, Lando felt very unwell during the whole weekend. Some people even thought he missed the driver's parade, but he was actually sat with an umbrella and he had cold compresses over him, and he just thought it was hay fever. McLaren actually took a fine on Sunday for Lando, because Lando he technically couldn't do it because he was ill, but his class's refusal to do media and press after the race, so they would have taken a fine for that. And I think motorsport.com reported that Lando was actually suffering from tonsillitis the entire race and like the entire course of the weekend, which is very, very rough.
Especially in the heat.
In the heat. Awful.
Oh.
So we're just hoping he recovers, and we're actually unsure yet as to whether he is going to take part in Monaco this week. But to drive in that,
he
my
did
lordy lord,
so well.
Yeah,
because as I say, the heat, like my mate, I was speaking of him before we started the podcast. He's from Madrid, and like he messaged me and was like, "Oh my god, like this heat." It's like 20 degrees more than it should be at like in this point in time of the year. He's like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And that's him who's lived in a hot climate like his entire life, and he's still like, I can't breathe. Never mind having tonsillitis and driving a car with a helmet on.
I think it had some people debating as well, because Lando finished P8 in the end, and it had some people questioning as to whether this has truly shown Daniel's performance within the team. But we know, especially at the start of this year, that he's had a rough start, as did Lando. I think McLaren are still very much getting to grip with the car, and I don't believe they've bought any package upgrades yet, and I hope they do over the next few weeks, because at the minute they're quite lacking on the points side of things, and they know they could have done better.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I felt the exact same thing. I was like, this guy is near, well, not near dying, but you know what I mean. I'm great at exaggerating. This guy's near dying here, and he manages to, like, how do you, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know whether, like, as you just said, if it's just the fact that there's no upgrades on the car, but still, you shouldn't be getting outdone by someone who is that ill.
Yeah.
That, like, he literally could not talk to the media, had to be gone. Like, he literally could not take part in the parade, nothing like that. He was like struggling all the way through it. Even in like, even in practices as well, he did pretty well on those. So it's kind of made me not appreciate how good he is, because I do think he's a good driver, but like, it's made me appreciate him a lot more, because I'm like, whoa, you're suffering that much, and you're still. I really love Danny. Like, I love him.
Obviously, it was a shame seeing how Daniel's performed, but I also think people are forgetting how much pressure there is on Lando, because he picked up, I think, one podium in 2020, and then a few more last year, and people are now expecting him to progress and get more second places, and then potentially even this year or next year win races, but I don't think that's realistic at the moment. Unfortunately, I wish it was. I really do, because we've seen that he's got the skill, and he's got the talent to be able to do it. Apart from that one time that his talent got damaged, but
it's just a shame. It's a shame, because I said I do love Ricardo, but I don't want to question him, but it's kind of made me a little bit. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, the fact that the car is not, like, there's no upgrades, stuff like that. Like, he never really had time pre-season really with the car.
Yeah.
So
that's also a valid point, actually. That he didn't.
So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was I think it's probably the girls from Racing Instance. They were saying, would it be best for when his contract runs out to maybe consider doing indie racing? But I don't know anything about that to even have an answer to that.
No.
I just feel like, is indie racing American? I don't know.
I think it is just American.
Yeah, so
because the Mclaren have their racing team, but I don't think indie racing is something Daniel would enjoy.
Yeah,
I think we just have to see how the season goes. We're not even halfway through it yet. And again, as far as we know, McLaren haven't bought any package upgrades to their car. So yeah.
But yeah, let me quickly talk about Latifi then. So he gets out paced in practice one by Nick. I'm not going to say his last name because I can't say it. And everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Everyone was like, this is who we want.
Ooh. And then
I think as well, like, we're not expecting Williams to be high midfield at this moment in time, but at least like low midfield. And if Nick's already able to do that, what does it show? What kind of impression does that then put on Latifi?
Yeah.
Also, he didn't crash or spin.
Yeah.
The entire race.
And he stays ahead of his teammate, and that's the main thing. That'll do him the world of good.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Albon. I don't know if it's because he started doing the Albon or so, and like it cursed him or whatever it
Maybe.
was, spraying everyone with red hair.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, I'll do this. I keep winning points. Oh, spray, spray.
And then now,
And then the car just went, no, sorry, no
not
more.
today. No.
But yeah, that even though I feel like it probably was something to do with Albon's car, why he didn't do well in that race and just couldn't overtake anyone. No, in fact, I'm not going to be that horrible to Latifi. I'll say Latifi deserved to be in front of him. But yeah,
I just think he's been there for how many years, and like George has been able to put performance in the car, Alex has, and he hasn't. I've sort of gotten to this point with him where I'm like, okay, is it time you take a break from F1 and go into something else? And we give someone else a chance to see how they're like, because we've seen winners are able of getting points. And Latifi, unfortunately, in my opinion, does not seem to be able to get points in a car that is able to get points. So, speaking of points,
sorry, Latifi.
No, you can say sorry. I'm not saying sorry. Points. Mick missed out on points. He had a solid drive all through that race. He did very well, and my heart broke. I was like, no. I was like, this should have been the week. Like it was going so well, but
so is he gonna do it? No.
But unfortunately, again, he didn't end up with points, which is such a shame. But his time will definitely come at some point.
Yeah, for sure. I myself speak about Russell in depth just a little bit. Russell. He's, like, it shocked me, to be fair. I thought, like, the first few laps, maybe he'll be able to defend against Red Bull, and then I thought that'll be it then. Then the race will go on as usual.
Yeah.
With Ferrari, Red Bull, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone fighting for the scraps. Everyone else fighting for the scraps, but no. No, he did us proud, to be fair. Like, some of the defensive moves that he was making would just add me, like, whoo, like out of my seat.
It's evident Max not having the DRS definitely made, because he would have known that, probably made him a lot more comfortable within his position, and then he did very well to recognize Max's pattern in his moves and be able to make different moves when he was on the track to prevent Max from passing him. And he does deserve a pat on the back for how well he did, and he was able to get on the podium too. And I think Mercedes did give him the right time, because I think if he was in a car as good as last year's Merc, he would have really struggled. Whereas Merc's car this year has also been quite touch and go thus far. And I think he's a great chap. He's a great driver, and it's nice seeing him get points and get on the podium.
He's like the nice side of beige. You know, you have beige, boring beige, but he's like beige. Oh, nice lad in beige.
Yeah.
He learned pretty quick, to be fair, like as you said about Verstappen's movements, because obviously he's not been anywhere near Verstappen's path in like any race. So for him to learn that quick, it was impressive.
Yeah.
As you said, that DRS helped him massively.
He seemed a lot happier too, I think, like in the post-race interview, to be on the podium, because he said before you shouldn't be, fighting for like P5 and P6. Like, you should be up there trying to win. And he should be happy with his performance, because he had a stonker of a performance. He did great.
Made me laugh when said over the radio, Perez was doing one stop. He's, blimey. It's like, that's so, like, so posh.
Yeah, it was funny. And I like that they call him the man from King's Lynn, because King's Lynn also just sounds so posh. But I think George was quite overlooked during the race. He did a great job. he's always had performance out of the car. You know, he's finished P5 or above in every race, and he knows he's given it his all. So fair play to him. He had a rough few seasons at Williams, but now he's really shining in that Merc.
Yeah, it's nice to see how confident he is within himself, like being able to deliver regardless of what condition the car is in.
Yeah,
like,
very true.
He's very one with the car.
Yeah,
which is surprising to make that massive jump. Is special. He's special. It should be fun to see when things don't go wrong for Hamilton, to see what it'll be like and battle between them.
Yeah, I do hope that Mercedes let them race each other. I think they will.
Yeah,
because especially now, from the driver standings, they're not particularly in contention at the moment for championship, but they're not too far off. Moving into the standings before we say goodbye for this week, we've got Max on the top, sitting with a nice 110. Charles is just behind him on 104. In third, you've got Perez on 85 points. Russell's fourth on 74 points. Sainz is fifth on 65 points. Then you've got Hamilton on 46, Norris on 39, Bottas on 38. Bottas has had quite a good season so far.
Yeah.
38 points is not bad. Ocon's on 30 points. K-Mag is on 15. Tsunoda and Danny Rick are both on 11 points. Gasly is on 6, which is a shame because we know what he can do in that car. So I have my fingers crossed he has a good few races coming up. Vettel and Alonso are both tied on 4 points. Albon on 3, Stroll on 2 points. Zhou is 1 point, and Mick, unfortunately, and Latifi, no surprise, are on 0 points. I can't wait for the day Mick gets 1 point. This is his season. I'm telling you. I'm calling it this season.
Definitely.
He's getting a point.
Yeah, I think he'll get more. I think once he gets his first points, I think they'll just come rolling in then, I think.
Yeah. And I think he'll be really happy with his first points. I think the whole community will unite for Mick's first points.
We'll have a party.
Yeah, we'll have a party. But yeah.
Yeah, we did well there, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think around an hour.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode, much with the absence of Harry. Hopefully Harry will be back next episode, where we head to Monaco.
Yeah. Do you want to make predictions for Monaco?
Monaco predictions?
Yeah. Should we do top 5?
Top 5? Oh, go on then. Might as well. I'm trying to think if the curse of Monaco will be broken, because Charles has already binned a car in Niki Lauda's car in Monaco last week.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking, sorry.
Yeah.
You're not. I think it'll be Verstappen.
Yeah, I want to say Max first. Checo second. Maybe Russell third. Sainz did quite well in Monaco last time. Sainz fourth. And Norris fifth. That's what I'm going with.
Backing your boy.
I'm backing my boy all the way home.
Love it. I'm gonna go. Yeah, Verstappen first. I want. Screw it. No, I'm gonna back Leclerc to beat his demons, and I'm going him first.
Ooh,
I'm going. God. Yeah, no, it's scary just saying it out loud.
But I said he was going to win the championship at the start of the season, didn't I?
Yeah, Leclerc first. Checo second. Max third, and it won't be that, but I'm thinking. Hamilton fourth, Russell fifth, I think.
Yeah, because it's not a track you can overtake at much,
Yeah.
but you never know what
It's all
goes
about
down
the
in Monaco.
defense.
I'm excited for Monaco. I do
Yeah.
like Monaco.
I don't know why it feels
Real
like it's
water,
been
real
forever
yachts.
since Monaco, but like
It
I don't know
does.
why in my head it does. Maybe it's because we got given that false
Fake Monaco. But no, back to real Monaco.
black Monaco. Thank you very much, everyone,
Thank
for
you for
watching.
watching. If you're with us on YouTube, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
If you're with us on SoundCloud, if you like the podcast, we would like it if you followed. Drop a comment. We want to know your opinions on this week's Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And the many, many others to come this season.
And make sure you follow us on Twitter as well, because we live tweet throughout.
We live
the
tweet
weekend.
everything.
Yeah.
We're tweeting memes. We're tweeting facts. Facts.
Bye, Harry.
Yeah.
Bye, Harry. We'll miss you, Harry.
Love you, Harry.
Harry should be back.
Harry should be back next week.
Pod, hopefully.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If not, I'll get a cardboard cut out of him.
Yeah.
And we'll just both take times doing impressions of him.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We'll add them somewhere. Look, I might add them into this one actually.
Yeah, we'll put him in the corner.
Yeah.
But yeah.
With a can of beer.
Yeah.
Or something.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.